Ray Dalio, we're headed into a period like the 1970s, so buy inflation hedge assets. Famed hedge fund manager Ray Dalio said on Tuesday he thinks that the global economy is headed into a period like 1970s dominated by inflation, concerns and potential stagnation. As a result, he said investors should focus on inflation hedge assets as a way to protect their portfolio during the coming turbulent times for financial markets. Dalio expressed skepticism about the Federal Reserve's ability to tamp down inflation without triggering a recession. He argued that too much debt has been created in a short period of time for the central bank to offset without massively increasing interest rates. Even himself is saying these times are coming, and he's not even holding back. How bad are things going to be, Tom, the next 12 to 18 months?
I think they're going to get really, really rough because I think that we could be potentially getting into a time like the full decade where the Japanese economy had to recover because our monetary policy, yes, it was about COVID. Yes, it was about getting relief checks to people. But you have to remember the second trillion that went out there was over a 10-year period, correct? It was flowed out. And so it basically becomes a slush fund for Congress for 10 years. And so basically that is irresponsible monetary policy. When you take a look at what was printed, you take a look at the debt, he's right. All he's saying is the economy just ate these things. It has to digest it. And it's going to be indigestion and it's going to be inflation and they're not going to be able to tamp it down. He's correct on an absolutely fundamental level. And what is the alternative right now? What is slowing down the housing market? Interest rates, right? So what do? Do you move the interest rates back to zero? I think he's right.
You cannot do that.
You can't do that.
No, you got to feel the pain.
So that's what I'm saying. You ate some bad beef and you got to go through the food poisoning. And it's going to take time to get it through the system. Sorry to use that visual. I apologize. But I think we're looking at the 10 years, up to 10 years, just like the Japanese economy had.
Catalina, what do you think?
If you look back 80s, 90s.
He said something that really stuck out to me. He said, we're in a time where ideologies and politics drive economics, not the other way around. And I think, obviously, it's a complex issue with the Fed and monetary policy and decades of things gone awry. But I also, the political part is very important. And why we need members of Congress who are pro-growth and who understand economics. Because ultimately, it's the American people are the ones who are going to suffer. When you have politicians that want to increase minimum wages, when you have, again, COVID lockdowns in some blue states, unconstitutional lockdowns where you're destroying small businesses, all of that stuff really does matter. And it is supply chain issues. All of this was incredibly political. And so when you have this kind of perfect storm of things, you need people who are able to bring it back. And ultimately, again, these kitchen table issues, what Americans, when I'm on the campaign trail, they're worried about going to a restaurant and things are 50% marked up. And then the restaurant owner, all of the food, they have to raise their prices. Groceries are getting more expensive. Gas is getting more expensive. It has become so political. And Ray Dalio was so on point when he said that the economy is now being driven by ideology and politics in a way it never has.
I don't disagree. Folks, if you want to find out like how and what gas prices are affecting, go price out the flight that you usually take and write down the number that you pay for the flight that you usually take. Whatever flight it may be, maybe LA to Dallas, okay, maybe New York to Miami, whatever it is that you usually go on and use American Airlines or, JetBlue or some of you guys who are extremely courageous, Spirit or whatever you take, right? And then go price it out today and see what the number is today. Go look at what happened today. It affects so many different industries. By the way, this article continues with another article that has to do with this one. Fox Business, U.S. economy on the cusp of stagflation. World's largest hedge fund warns. This is a complete different person. Bridgewater Associates co-chief investment officer Bob Prince said this week that markets have not fully absorbed the shock of what's happening in the economy, and investors are too optimistic about the path for inflation and interest rates. And stagflation is the combination of economy stagnation and high inflation characterized by soaring consumer prices as well as high unemployment. The phenomenon ravaged the U.S. economy in the 70s and 80s as spiking oil prices, rising unemployment, and high monetary policy pushed the consumer price index as high as 14.8% in 1980, forcing Fed policymakers to raise interest rates to nearly, you ready, 20%. And by the way, to the experts who don't think that's possible, they are unbelievably naive, because never in the history of the company have we printed money like we have right now. Expect interest rates to go to that level. Let me give 2 tips I got. I'm going to read one other article here that talks about if you were the person that were too loyal to your company and you didn't go get another raise at another job, you made a mistake. That's a Business Insider story. We'll read that. But I want to give you a tip. If you're thinking about buying a house, this is purely my opinion. You don't have to take it, but I'm just giving it to you. If you're thinking about buying a house and you're so excited about buying a house, if you can wait 12 to 18 months, do so. If you are so excited about buying a house that you're just like, oh my God, but I love this place. If you can somehow set aside your emotional love for that new house for 12 or 18 months, you're going to win. Here's why. The mortgage payment's not going to be different. You're still going to pay the same payment you're paying today for that house, because you buy the same house 18 months from now, that's probably $1 million house today, you'll pay $720 for it, but interest rates are going to be 8.5%, so your payment's going to be the same. But that $1 million house that becomes $720 is going to go back to a $1 million house 7 years from now, 5 years from now, except you kept that $280, and then you'll refinance when interest rates come down 5 to 10 years from now, and you'll pay a lower payment. So if you can emotionally prevent yourself from jumping on the house that you want to buy right now, wait 12 to 18 more months, it's probably going to be a wise move on your end. Now, people who are not going to like me saying this are loan officers and realtors. Realtors and loan officers, I love you. I support you on what you do. Your job is to convince them that I'm wrong. And I'm totally okay with that. That's how debates and arguments happen. But I'm telling you, I think I'm right, okay, when it comes down to this idea with house. But do you think, Tom, it has a likelihood of getting as crazy as it was in the 70s and 80s of 14% type of things? Like, do you think it can get to a number like that?
I think it has all the raw materials in here. The kindling is here that the fire could burn that hot, but I don't think it will. You know, I think there's a lot more controls and things that banks are going to be put in place. And by the way, don't forget to leave out Wells Fargo, the largest issuer of mortgages in the United States, that's upset with you right now. But
well, let me ask you a question, because if Ray Dalio is right.
By the way, your property tax also goes down. Your property taxes when you buy that house, that's a very meaningful part of home ownership. Could be $1,000 a month. Your property taxes are probably now down to $600 a month.
$600, yeah. Go ahead.
But your insurance rates are going to go up. That's a big problem that's going on here in Miami, is that all the property insurance rates are skyrocketing. But here's my question for you, because
that won't change, though. That's not going to change no matter what.
Well, not according to the Miami Herald. I mean, whatever. We don't need to get into the article right here. But apparently the insurance rates have skyrocketed 30%.
Because of what, though?
You want me to read the article?
No, what I'm trying to say is it's going to go up no matter what, though. It's not going down because of whatever the current times are. You're going to pay that a year from now, whether you like it or not. That fee is not going away. But go ahead, make your point.
No. I mean, I don't want to pull out the article right now. So if real estate's going down, stock market's going down, crypto's going down, Ray Dalio's basically saying, so buy inflation hedge assets. And I don't know if you were using a Freudian slip right there. So here's some tips for you. Are you saying, what should you invest in? Tips, treasury, inflation, protected securities, something like that? Where should people be putting their money? You gave a great speech at the Think conference. What was it called? Grow Live with Video.
Grow Live with Video.
Great speech. It was awesome. And you said, hey, this is a great time where you can add an extra zero to your net worth over the next few years. Other than making more money, right? You know, and choosing your income producing mentality better. Where should people be putting their money now? If real estate's going down, stock market's going down, crypto's going down.
Depends.
Where should you be putting your money? So
the average person, or the person that wants to really play ball and add
average person.
The average person needs to. If you're in equities is going to take a hit. It is going to take a hit. So, but I don't want to give that advice, because too many times when they say that, then they forget to go back in equities when the momentum is back up, and they take a big hit for it. So if you're not somebody that's watching your stuff, let your advisor give the advice. I don't know what situation you're in. But I will tell you right now, if there's ever been a perfect time to add that additional zero to your net worth, today's the time. The next 2 to 5 years, a lot of things are going to be on sale. So you're
saying stack cash? even though inflation is at 8%, what have you?
I think opportunities are going to go to the roof the next 12 to 18 months. Ask Warren Buffett, that knows more about money than 99.99999% of the world. Why is he sitting on so much cash right now? Maybe because he knows how much things are going to be on sale, and he's going to pick up things on sale. It's just the reality of it.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.